a question. A question as to why do some leaders appear to have all eyes on them, they're highly visible, but then other leaders are simply ignored. Now, if you've ever wanted to learn how to influence a room, this is the video that you absolutely want to watch until the end, because I'm going to share with you why some leaders are ignored and why some leaders are able to influence the room. This topic is one of the many topics that we talk about here on this channel. And if you are new to me, my name is Dr. Jacinta. And if you are one of my absolutely amazing subscribers, welcome back, friend. This channel heavily focuses on topics just like we are discussing today. Any topic that relates to being able to communicate more confidently and concisely under pressure is what we focus here on the channel. And I'm also here to give you an unfair competitive advantage as it relates to how you communicate as a leader under pressure. If you want to be that person that has that unfair competitive advantage, which I know you do because you clicked on this video, you definitely want to subscribe to the channel or take some time to look at over the 1,100 videos that I have here on this channel where we talk about these specific situations as they come up. Now, let me know in the comments below if you've ever seen this happen. Have you ever seen this phenomenon happen? When you have one leader that is highly respected, highly visible, but you have the other leader that does a lot of work too, but they simply are ignored. Put in the comments below. Let's talk about it today if you've experienced that. I'm going to share with you what I have seen over the past couple years. I'll highlight them very briefly and we'll go into them in a bit more detail in just a few moments. Now, before I share with you what I have seen that is a huge factor into the reasons why someone may be overlooked or they may be able to influence a room, I do want to preface this by saying that there's a lot of reasons why this can happen, but I'm only going to pull out 3 in this live video today. One of the reasons why I see leaders struggle when it comes to being able to influence a room, 1 has to do with self-promotion, 2 has to do with their ability to engage with the audience, and 3 has to do with them being able to communicate under pressure. Now, I'm going to go into detail on each of these because these are my top 3 reasons that I would say why someone may find themselves in a situation where they're not able to influence a room. Now, when it comes to being able to put yourself in a situation where you can influence others, there's a lot that goes into it. We talk about it here on this channel, how to communicate under pressure, how to do all these wonderful strategies that we discuss. So you want to take a look at the videos, but let's dive into specifically the first reason, which comes to self-promotion. But before I do that, I want to say hello, and welcome to those of you watching the live today. If you've ever found yourself in a situation where perhaps you have been the person that's been overlooked and you just did not know exactly what you needed to do to engage the audience or influence the room, this is one of the best videos that you can watch here on YouTube today. All right, I want to say hello to Halloween Boy 9786. Hello, hope you're doing well today. Let me know what part of the big beautiful world you all are joining from today as well. Now, the leaders who are able to self-promote themselves tend to be a bit more visible. How many of you have struggled with promoting yourself? Put it in the comments below. I mention this because when I notice and I see two leaders that are at the same level, there is typically something that makes them different. One person progresses to a higher level while the other person stays about where they are. So self-promotion is going to be a big part of that. If you have the ability to promote yourself, it allows other people to know exactly what it is that you are contributing to your organizations, your business, to your constituents, and etc. What I've seen that happens oftentimes is that when someone is maybe that person that is being overlooked for projects or opportunities, they typically are not promoting themselves in the way that they should. Why is that? As individuals, depending on how you were raised and what your culture is, many of us are taught don't brag about yourself. Don't talk too much about yourself too much. Don't do that. And as we develop into adults and into leaders, we take those mindsets that will ultimately hurt us into our professional lives. which is the reason why a lot of people struggle with promoting themselves in their organizations or businesses. If you can master and learn how to promote yourself in a way to where you are not being that arrogant person that is just constantly bragging about themselves, you definitely don't want to do that. But to be the person that can talk about what you are specifically contributing as it relates to your role and some of the KPIs or the metrics that you are meeting, it will help you to be the person that helps to guide the conversation and ultimately influence the room. If you stay quiet, you don't brag about yourself or promote yourself, I would say rather, in a reasonable way, then you'll probably be that person that will stay overlooked. Now, let's go to number 2. The second reason why a lot of times people will struggle with the balance of influence a room or not influence a room has a lot to do with how they engage an audience. Now, before I go into this more, I want to say hello and welcome to those of you watching the live today. If you have ever been that person that has struggled with influencing a room, this is a fantastic video for you to watch today. You're welcome to subscribe to the channel if you want to go into a lot more detail in terms of how you can be that person that stands out from everybody else. When it comes to engaging an audience, if you are not able to engage an audience, you will never be able to influence a room. I'm going to say that again. If you are not able to engage the audience, you will never, yes, never, be able to influence the room. Why do I say that? Because most people, when they are in leadership roles, they are very good at what they do. They know how to communicate, they know how to do presentations and etc. But there's something different when you have someone that can speak to you as if they are having a conversation with you. Now, a lot of times, leaders in general, they are terrified of speaking in public. They're okay with speaking to a couple of people, but when it comes to speaking to a larger group of people, they tend to shy away from that. It makes them very apprehensive. They're not quite sure exactly what they should say, how they should say it. And this is one of the reasons why public speaking is a skill that a lot of people are completely just terrified of. They don't want to do it. They would rather be doing something else than speaking in public. However, if you're watching this video and you are that person that wants to develop that unfair competitive advantage, as I mentioned in the very beginning of this video, then public speaking is a skill you are going to want to spend some time on developing. Now, if you happen to be at a place on your leadership journey where you know that you need to develop this unfair competitive advantage as it relates to how you communicate, then you absolutely want to reach out to me at exciteexcellence.org. I have multiple ways where I can help you develop your edge over everybody else. Let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about engaging an audience? Do you feel comfortable doing this? Or is this something that you have no clue how to do? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Engaging an audience is important. As a public speaker, this is a skill that we are trained on, and this is the reason why, if you're trying to influence the room, you want to engage the entire audience as much as you can. If you are the person that does the presentation and reads from your slides and does not look at the audience, I will share with you that the person that perhaps reads from the slides but can actually engage an audience will have more of an influence of the room because they are basically communicating with everyone in the room all at the same time. Now, you may be wondering, well, how do I do that? How can I engage an audience full of people all at the same time? That's why you work with me directly to do that. Now, I'm going to go into the third reason as to why some leaders are overlooked and why some leaders are able to influence a room. And this particular insight that I want to share with you is one that we talk about on the channel at length. And if this is a situation or a topic that you are currently struggling with, subscribe to this channel and you will learn some insights that will help you not to struggle with this as much. And you're always welcome to work with me, of course, if you're really trying to master this skill. But your ability to communicate and speak under pressure will help you to influence an audience on a whole nother level. If you happen to be the person that is under pressure, maybe you're in the hot seat and maybe someone's asking you questions or debating with you or etc. And if you find yourself freezing or stumbling or not knowing what to say or looking like you don't know what you're doing, this is the reason why you will be overlooked. Now, I know that may be difficult to hear, but this is the reality. Now, on the contrary, if you're the person that can communicate under pressure and that is able to hold yourself together when you are in the hot seat, automatically people will look to you as someone who is influential that can make some changes to the overall organization or your businesses. Why is that? Because most people, especially leaders, they know how to communicate, but when the conversation goes under pressure, as I say, or becomes a bit more challenging, they typically don't know how to respond. Therefore, if you happen to be that person, that leader that can speak under pressure, then automatically you will stand out from everybody else because people will look to you to say, oh, she did an amazing job. Wow, he did a fantastic job being able to challenge this person when they challenge them. Or maybe you are at a place where you were presenting information and someone disagreed with it. If you can handle those interruptions, those rebuttals, those objections, it will help you to influence a room because most people, if they're in front of a group of people, you let me know if this happened to you before, but most people, when they are in front of a group of people speaking, they are terrified if someone asks them a question that might be a bit more challenging. They don't know how to respond. Therefore, if they see someone that can handle themselves and communicate in a still very professional and articulate way, even though they're under pressure, you automatically will be able to influence the room. If you are the person that cannot speak under pressure, it is going to be very difficult for you to be able to influence a room. Now, can you be at a place where you don't have to speak under pressure too much? As a leader, of course. If you want to stay in the average leader zone, you can do that. But if you are subscribed to my channel or one of my amazing clients that I have worked with, then this is not where we want you to be. We do not want you to be the person that is average. This is the channel for the individuals that are above average or exceptional high stakes communicators. This is the home for you. Therefore, we've talked about a couple of strategies that will help you. And some of the main reasons, there's a lot of reasons, as I mentioned. I'm only breaking this live into 3 to have something for us to discuss, but there are a lot of reasons as to why someone will struggle with being able to influence a room and perhaps being overlooked. And I've narrowed those down to my top 3 that I would recommend for someone to start working on immediately. 1, make sure that you are promoting yourself, and I'm going to add something to this one, to the right people. Every organization, every business is different. There are people that need to know your information and know what you're working on, and there's people that will be helpful for them to know, but they're not the key decision makers. When you're promoting yourself in a very tactful way, promote yourself to the people that truly do matter, meaning the people that actually are making the decisions. The second strategy or insight that I shared with you is to make sure that you're in a good place where you are able to engage an audience, meaning specifically if you are interacting with them, asking the audience questions, making eye contact with your audience, that will be helpful. And then third and finally, it will be important for you to learn how to speak under pressure. If you can speak under pressure, thank you for the celebration caps. If you can speak under pressure, it will help you out tremendously. I want to say hello to VBNM1417. Hello, how are you doing today? These 3 insights will help you to be the person that stands out from everybody else. Not the person that's overlooked. Thank you for the celebration caps, friends. Not the person that's overlooked, but the person that has the ability to influence the room. Now, if you were thinking, this sounds good, this sounds like a very good place for me to start, let me share a couple things with you. I have over 1,100 videos here on this YouTube channel dedicated to high stakes, high pressure communication. Some of the videos that you will want to take a look at as it relates to this topic specifically will be the playlist that I have that focuses on executive presence mastery. There's a lot of videos there on that playlist that will help you to start developing these skills, but there's a couple videos that are in the high stakes fundamentals. that I would encourage you to look at. Thank you for the celebration caps. Any videos that talk about thinking on your feet, managing your emotions under pressure, maintaining eye contact, your tone of voice and body language, all of these videos specifically will give you the fundamentals to help you be able to communicate under pressure in those challenging situations. This is the reason why, if you can start mastering these aspects of communication, it will help you to influence a room. It will help you be the person that cannot be overlooked. Take my over 20 years of expertise and experience that I've had as a senior executive. I have been in very friendly, very contentious conversations. I've interacted with congressional leaders at the federal level here in the United States and locally here in the Sunshine State of Florida. And I am telling you that I've been in those rooms and I see how someone can influence it. If I had to give you something, if I had to say, if out of the three I gave you, what's one? What's maybe the one, if I could just start on one, that I would recommend for you to do to start influencing the room? If I had to break it down to just one, remember I mentioned three. I mentioned, thank you for the smiley faces, friend. I mentioned being able to promote yourself, being able to engage the audience, and then being able to speak under pressure. If I had to break it down to one, just one for you to start on, this is what it would be. Are you ready? Promoting yourself to the right people. Now, I know the other ones I already told you are helpful, but there's a lot of conversations that happen behind closed doors as it relates to individuals and their ability to impact organizations and influence organizations, which is the reason why, if I had to narrow it down to one for you just to start on today, is start promoting yourself to the right people. Because as I mentioned, there's a lot of conversations that happen. This is how influence is built. It's not always just who you are communicating with. It's not always being able to engage an audience. Those aspects are critically important, but if you want to know the secrets and the root cause as to why people are overlooked, there's conversations that are happening about somebody else and not you, and you don't want to be that person, especially if it's in a positive light. So promote yourself. Do not be afraid to talk about yourself. Do not be afraid to talk about your accomplishments and the many wonderful things you have done. If you find yourself struggling with how to promote yourself, I'll give you another tip here that can help you to be able to do this a bit better, since this is the number one place I would start. If you struggle with promoting yourself and you are that person that just, I don't want to talk about myself, I don't want to brag about myself, and you're carrying that old mindset that we talked about earlier that a lot of us are trained to think about, then take some time, get a pen, get a paper, and write down specifically what it is that you have accomplished that you are most proud of. What is it? Put it in the comments below. Let's talk about it. But if you take some time to write down what you're most proud of as it relates to your role and what you're doing, and you write those down, you could do your top three, you could do 5. But if you write them down and you think about those moments in your life or in your professional career, which is what we focus on here, when you've done a huge milestone or made a huge milestone or you accomplished a major task, it allows you to reflect back on how you felt and what you did and how you are unique in your own way. And once you're able to write those down and reflect on them, it will help you when you have those conversations come up where you have to be the person that promotes yourself and you know what you can promote. Many times people don't know. There's a couple reasons why people don't promote themselves. I already mentioned one. Sometimes we're just ingrained to not brag about ourselves or not talk about ourselves or not advocate for ourselves, which happens a lot of times with women in leadership. But also, sometimes we don't even know what to brag about. We've done so many wonderful things that it's just so much, and we don't take the time to really think about, well, what did I do and how did I do it? This is how you will start to stand out from everybody else. If you're new to me, take a look at the playlist that I have here. There's several playlists that I have. There's a lot of information here on this channel. I go live here on YouTube at least 7 to 8 times a week. And I've been a member of YouTube's live streamer research panel because I go live here and live stream here so much. I'm the only channel here on YouTube that focuses in on high stakes, high pressure communication for leaders in a live format to give you instruction here and help you, because most individuals that talk about communication and refer to communication which there's nothing wrong with this, by the way. But a lot of the videos will come across as being very highly edited and very highly scripted. And that's something that I don't necessarily do on my channel. I do have pre-recorded videos and I will have a lot more of those, but I spend a lot more time live. And I found that if you really are serious about being able to communicate at a higher level, develop that unfair competitive advantage, and being that person that can navigate high stakes situations, then the best way for you to learn it is to learn it in a live setting with me, or if you want to work with me directly, this is what I'm here to do and to support you with. A lot of PR companies will provide you with information that will be very highly scripted in terms of what you need to say. This is the reason why a lot of times people will struggle with being their authentic selves when they're trying to communicate in front of a group of people or in front of a camera, because they simply are reading from a script and it's not coming from them. If you happen to be somebody that is in a very highly visible role, perhaps you're a CEO of an organization, maybe you're a public official, maybe you are a pastor, maybe you are a business owner. If you are in front of people quite a bit and you are on media, or perhaps you're on a news station or etc., then you absolutely don't want to be that person that sounds like a robot. We have enough robots and things that we're dealing with now. You don't want to be the person that sounds like a robot. That's why you come and work with me directly. So let me know what questions you have. If there's any aspects of your professional career that you're struggling with, maybe you're having conversations that you don't know how to navigate, or maybe you were just really dealing with something. You're dealing with a very complex situation in your businesses or in your professional lives, then come to me with the very hard things. This is my expertise. I am at a place where I've done a lot and seen a lot, and I'd be more than happy to help you navigate any challenging situation.